sorry, that's for a Democrat show.
Let me know when you're ready.
No matter what the technical difficulty is, this man is a professional. He goes all the way.
What you represent to them is freedom.
Was an extremely great conservative commentator. We're tearing it up on Wednesday night. This is awesome. This
will allow me to retort.
Well, this is Jersey Joe for the Reaver of Common Sense show. 8 p.m. on shrmedia.com.
Actually, I just totally screwed up. This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm making sense out of the senseless. The Jersey Takeover's here. We have expanded to 2 hours every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Remember to join the live chat. You simply go to Reaver.one, click on the live stream. It is the same spot you go to watch a live broadcast. And if you want to support the show, go to Reaver.one, click on the shop button, pick yourself up a t-shirt, survival bracelet, and so many other items to choose from. Every time that I think that the left has gone as low as they can go, well, it seems they take it as a personal challenge and try to out-scumbag themselves. They threw a hissy fit when they brought up Mr. Khan on stage. And Mr. Khan attacked Donald Trump, and Donald Trump responded. They threw a hissy fit, the media did. The Democrats threw a hissy fit. How dare Donald Trump respond to being attacked? That was about a month ago. Now, during the RNC, Pat Smith got up. She spoke her mind about Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton responded. Hillary Clinton called her a liar, even though there's video proof of Hillary Clinton lying. Surprise, Hillary Clinton lying. But that wasn't it. We had Chris Matthews, that little piece of shit. Sorry, excuse for a human. And let me see something. Should have had this pulled up. My apologies. We had Pat Smith up there going after... we had Chris Matthews up there going after Pat Smith, and nobody gave a rat's ass that she was attacked. And it makes me sick what I have seen. Absolutely appalled. Sorry, it's taking a little bit longer than I care to for everything to load up. All right, here is Chris Smith about Pat Smith.
This gross accusation that somehow Hillary Clinton had anything to do with the death of Chris Stevens, Ambassador. She had nothing to do with it. Even if all the arguments about the PR afterwards, as Gene pointed out, are true. Worst case scenario, she didn't give a straight story afterwards. That had nothing to do with the death of great ambassador over there. I don't understand why the Republicans would choose to put this on primetime television when they have such wonderful stories of American heroism to speak to the American people. I think it was wrong. I don't care what that woman up there, the mother, has felt. Her emotions are her own. But for the country and choosing a leader, it's wrong to have someone come up there and tell a lie about Hillary Clinton. It's not true. It's logically not true. It's manifestly not true. She had anything to do in that case, even if all the arguments about what she said afterwards or Susan Rice said afterwards on Meet the Press are true. And anybody who thinks about it for a second knows it's not true. And I think it's wrong that they ruined their evening with this.
Now, that was... All of it's been proved. The only ones that think it's a lie are the dumb fucks on the left that are out to protect Hillary. Anybody else with a IQ of over 2 knows that Hillary has been lying since day one of this whole Benghazi incident. She's lied to Pat Smith over the dead body of her son. And Hillary Clinton was directly involved in the death of her son because of her lack of actions. She failed to send in reinforcements that were right there. She's having them play fashion show instead of Americans going in and kicking ass and saving American lives. No. She wanted to play games. So that one's not crazy about. But then you had Beth Scholes, who is a writer for GQ magazine, tweeted out, "I don't care how many children Pat Smith lost. I would like to beat her to death." A fucking death threat made by the left and not a goddamn peep out of mainstream media. Not a peep. This was sick. It was vile. And this was going on as they were attacking Trump for responding to Mr. Khan. And not a goddamn peep. Was this person kicked off of Twitter for making a death threat? No. The pussy sure as hell blocked me real quick as I was spreading the word of their death threat. And make sure people know who they work for. So now, we're like about a month now. Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid, who is holding a live broadcast from, I guess, somewhere in Nevada, with a whopping 71 people watching it.
For example, at the National Convention, they had that poor Smith woman come out and say, Hillary Clinton killed my son. How crazy. For example, at the National Convention, they had that poor Smith woman come out and say, Hillary Clinton killed my son. How crazy.
So now Pat Smith is crazy. Harry Reid, you should be the last one to fucking talk about being crazy. You senile bag of dust. But do you see any of this on the mainstream media? No. You see Donald Trump calling Hillary a bigot. Well, you know what? The fucking witch is a bigot. She's a murderer. She belongs in jail, not running for president. Because there is recent cases of... there was a gentleman who took a couple pictures of a submarine so that he could show his grandkids one day. He's lost his career, he's lost his pension, and he's going to serve jail time. He did less than Hillary Clinton did. Less. And he didn't think he was breaking the law. He didn't think he was breaking any laws when he did this. There was no intention of breaking laws. And the judge said he couldn't use Hillary Clinton's defense. Because, well, he's not a rich bitch like she is. He wasn't able to pay off Loretta Lynch. He didn't have his spouse meeting Loretta Lynch privately on a runway in the back of a plane. Wonder how many millions that cost the Clintons. Because anybody else would have been in handcuffs with all the crap that the Clintons are surrounded by. But of course, it's just conspiracy theories. Everything's a conspiracy theory. That is the new word for the left. Well, I don't think it's a conspiracy theory that you attacked Pat Smith again, you pieces of shit. That neither Fox News, MSNBC, CNN have the fucking balls to call you out on your bullshit. Well, I will. I know I don't have a show that is on Fox or MSNBC or CNN, but I will keep talking about Benghazi until there's some fucking justice. I will not stand by as Miss Smith is attacked repeatedly. And the fucking pieces of shit we call mainstream media ignore the attacks on her. You can see the hypocrisy so many different ways of our mainstream media. They attacked Donald Trump for responding to a Gold Star parent. But when the political left attacks a Gold Star parent, there's not a fucking person around in the mainstream media that's going to do anything about it. It is absolutely appalling, disgusting, vile. And these pieces of shit that think they could talk down to Pat Smith. Well, karma's a bitch. No, that's not a threat. That's just a wishful thinking that karma comes back and smacks you in your fucking face. Hillary Clinton lied to the mother of Sean Smith. Not only lied to him, but lied right there at the casket. This woman has no morals. No feelings. Not an ounce of dignity or self-respect. Anybody with self-respect would have never lied to the parent over the casket of their son. And then sit there and lie about it as there's video. There's so many lies that go on because she's lying about lying. Oh, I never said that. I never said that. There's video of you saying that it was over a video and that you would do everything to catch the people and yada yada yippity yip. I played it on the show in the past. I have played it time and time again. I'm actually trying to find it. Of course, now that I'm looking for it. You know, I will never find it. And then we have Hillary thinking that she is hold on. All right.
Absolutely wrong. This has been a difficult week for the State Department and for our country. We've seen the heavy assault on our post in Benghazi that took the lives of those brave men. We've seen rage and violence directed at American embassies over an awful internet video that we had nothing to do with.
You know, in 76, Jimmy Carter.
That was the speech she gave the day the bodies came home. But she said she never said those things. Well, bitch, you said them. This is how gullible people are. She's running around calling everybody a racist. I mean, it's what's funny is she's using that bag of tricks so early in the race. It's kind of, they must be really scared if they're using the racist card already. Usually they're going to wait a little bit closer to election time before they start with the racist crap. She's already doing it. And these people are so fucking brainwashed and so fucking stupid, they actually think that the Republicans created the KKK. The Republicans were the ones responsible for slavery. That the Democrats are the ones that fought for the freedoms of everybody in this goddamn country. Well, newsflash, idiots. Get off your fucking lazy asses. Open up Google. Actually do a search. It's very fucking easy. And you will see that the Democratic Party has been on the wrong side of history for years. Decades. They've been on the wrong side of slavery. They've been on the wrong side of the civil rights fight. They've been on the wrong side of women's suffrage. And the list goes on and on and on. But then they create, the parties, they switched. Well, let me ask you a question. If the fucking party switched like you say it did, you dumbass, explain to me this. How many Republicans went to the Democrat Party? Because I keep hearing about one Democrat that came over. That does not make a party switch. The Republicans spent 100 years, 100 fucking years fighting for civil rights. And you want me to believe that out of nowhere, just because you're dumb and gullible, you want me to believe that out of nowhere, the Republicans then decided, hey, you know what? After 100 years of busting our ass on freeing the slaves, getting the vote for the black man, getting him treated as equal, we're now going to become the party of racism. Do you know how fucking retarded that sounds? And that's exactly what you're saying, is they switched parties. In 1960s, they switched parties. It's not to say that the Republicans have been on the right side of history on every goddamn thing. They've stepped in shit here and there. But the one thing they haven't been the ones pushing the minorities down. Right around 140 years ago, the Democrats were pushing black people onto the plantations and keeping them down. Well, now the Democrats found a way to continue that time-honored trait of the black people, and they're pushing the black people into inner cities and keeping them under control now. But as soon as they start screaming, racism, racism, everybody starts looking for Republicans. It's not the Republicans that are destroying the inner cities. Every time a Republican tries to make change to make it better for the inner cities, the Democrats cry racism. And it's the end of the conversation. Well, it's no longer the end of the conversation. What Republicans have in control of Detroit, Chicago, Baltimore? Not a goddamn one. It's Democrat run. But then they still try to find a way to push the problems out onto the Republican Party because they keep fucking up your cities. I'm so sick of every time there's an issue, you get scumbags like Hillary Clinton. Her campaign is going down, so what does she do? She starts screaming racism. Well, I will no longer be quiet, and I haven't for a long time. When you scream racism, as I got called yesterday, that tells me I'm winning the fucking conversation. That you're so mind-numbingly a lemming following this bullshit that you have nothing else of value. You have nothing for the conversation, so you scream racism and hoping that the conversation stops. Because when I kept going, is when all of a sudden the person got quiet. Or when I started spouting facts and showing, because the person says that Donald Trump did not disavow David Duke's support. Well, when I showed the little cocksucker CNN articles of Donald Trump immediately denouncing David Duke, oh, he immediately blocked me. The little pussy did. It's not that I care that he blocked me. I find it funny that I disproved his goddamn sentence in 5 seconds with a 5-second goddamn Google with a left-wing news site that blew his comment out of the water because Hillary Clinton was spouting about it and lying to the people on Twitter. She's got to lie. She's got to misrepresent the facts to try to get people on her side. Well, you're on the wrong side of history. Whether you win or lose the election, you're going to be on the wrong side of history. Because right now, this portion of American history is going to go down as some of the bad times of America. Oh, that's right. I'm a racist because I don't think what President Barack Obama did the last 7.5+ years was anything on the good side of history of America. Our economics suck. The division that's within this country is at a bottom-dwelling time. We have become a weak country where we were a leader just 8 years ago. So, you're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media, HPPundit.com, or HP Pundit Radio, sorry. ICRN Network, Red Nation Rising Radio, iTunes, YouTube, and Spreaker. We will be right back after I get my tongue fixed.
Listening to the SHR Media Network. Now, Brownells, we know you may have only one shot to harvest that trophy, so we have thousands of accessories and replacement parts to improve your chances. We know how much you love to shoot, so our gunsmiths articles and videos will help you do more and get more out of your guns. We also value your hard work and money. That's why only Brownells backs up everything we sell with a 100% unconditional lifetime guarantee. Brownells, the world's largest supplier of firearm accessories and gunsmithing tools.
My name is Chris Peranto, call sign Tonto. I was with the Global Response Staff. We were the security element for the Central Intelligence Agency in Benghazi, Libya on 9/11/2012. Myself and my team responded to an attack that killed Ambassador Chris Stevens, Sean Smith, and two of my teammates, Tyrone Woods and Glenn Doherty. Radical Islam is basically terrorism in a nutshell. It wants to not only put down Western values, it wants to kill anybody that supports those Western values, which is freedom, which is Christianity, and which is also anything that looks poorly on Sharia law. We've allowed it again to grow into something that it shouldn't be, and it's becoming stronger and stronger every day that we don't lead from the front. Obama and Hillary, by avoiding the phrase radical Islam, they're being politically correct. They don't see it for what it is, and that's straight up destroying the Western world. Radical Islam doesn't have a fear. They will give up their lives. They will detonate themselves. They will do anything they can to fulfill Sharia law and kill the infidels. If we're not able to even say radical Islam, the word radical Islam, there's no way we can fight it. There's no way we can defeat it. The United States of America doesn't lead from behind. We are always setting the example. If not, we're going to see terrorism get bigger and bigger, and eventually it's just going to be continual lone wolf attacks in the United States. And I don't want that to happen to my kids. I don't want to see my family go through that. Please join me in waking up Washington in this fight on radical Islam, seeing the threat that it really is. Sign up at leadingfromthefront.org.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
Listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. You didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean.
Dude, I'm not saying capital is stupid, bro.
Sackhead Clint.
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
Also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch the Southside Mutt Show with its hosts, the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe and Crash, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, where we will be digging up the dirt.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the Reaver of Common Sense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date with everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense Show. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm making sense out of the senseless. Remember, the Jersey Takeovers here, we have expanded to 2 hours every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you want to support the show, it is very easy. Just go to reaver.one/shop. You could pick up Life is a Bitch, Why Vote for One Hillary t-shirt. Or you could pick up Vote Monica. She'll get the job done when Hillary can't. You can get the Blue Lives Matter with a thin blue line American flag on it. You have Thomas Jefferson holding an AR-15 that the Second Amendment is the last defense against a tyranny. And then you also have the Second Amendment, the original Homeland Security. And there's so much more on the site. Just go to reaver.one/shop. Yeah, I'm hoping, and it's looking like this Hillary attack, her alt-right speech, her attack calling everybody racist, I think it's actually backfiring on her. I really do. But you got the Trumpocrats. That they feel that Hillary Clinton is just simply unhinged, as evidenced by her speech in Reno, Nevada on Thursday. The executive director of the Trumpocrats, Christina Rickers, Hillary is simply unhinged and appealing to the lowest common denominator, who is a lifelong Democrat who backed Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders in the Democratic primaries, but is now leading a movement crossing over to the Republican Party to back GOP nominee Donald Trump, said that in response to Clinton's alt-right speech, her performance today was more evidence of how desperate she has become. Ricker's organization, the Trumpocrats, represents the tens of thousands of Democrats who are leaving the Democrat Party because they believe Hillary Clinton does not represent their values and are instead voting for Trump in the general election. Rickers is planning a bus tour through key battleground states coming up, and is hardly alone. Several other Democrats are standing up with him, more in those key states than a handful of Republican D.C. insiders who have switched teams to back Hillary Clinton. Rickers expects that Clinton's Thursday speech has backfired and actually turned off a lot of Democrats who are now even more willing to abandon the Democrat Party underneath Hillary's reign and instead chose change over status quo with Trump. We're focused on America, Rickers said on Thursday in exchange with a news agency after Clinton's speech. Jobs, bringing dignity back to American workers and families. My party has anointed the wrong person, a perfect example of the broken political system. This is disappointing and sad. Americans need to wake up. Organize with us, join the American uprising. In the Mandarin speech on Thursday in Reno, Clinton spent the entire time not talking about jobs, the economy, trade deals, national security, or any of the issues that matter. She instead spent the entire Thursday in August, just months, weeks, really before the election, talking about her new tinfoil hat theories about the vast alt-right wing conspiracy. That's all she has done since her husband was president. It's always a right-wing conspiracy theory. It's always the right wing is after her and her family. They're making up accusations of Bill having sex with other women. They're making it up that women are accusing Bill of raping, sexually assaulting women. Time and time again, she made those claims it was a right-wing conspiracy theory. She has gone on that Benghazi is a right-wing conspiracy theory, that it's been cooked up to hurt her election. This is going back all the way to 2012. Everything was a right-wing conspiracy against her running for president, even though she said she didn't know she was going to run again. Her email, her personal email server that she used to send classified documents, is a right-wing conspiracy theory to attack her. The Clinton Foundation scandal of them accepting basically bribes so that they can have favors from the Secretary of State is a right-wing conspiracy theory. Everything negative in that woman's life is a conspiracy theory cooked up by the right wing. Well, she's starting to sound more and more like she needs to have a tinfoil hat. Because after a while, you really got to question how much of it is her covering up compared to actually being conspiracy theories. So someone actually came together and did a little fact-checking on Hillary Clinton's alt-right speech, which I think it would be newsworthy if this fucking woman ever told the truth. If she actually spoke the truth, that would be newsworthy. Now, I love who I'm about to talk to, but there's a couple women I know. The only reason that they're voting for Hillary is because what is missing from between her legs? That is sexist. And I thought the left was against sexism. I thought it was against anybody voting for someone because of their sex. But yet I hear Hillary and a lot of people saying, well, I'm voting because she is a woman. And if I said I was voting for Trump because he is a man, I'd be called a sexist. Let that one sink in. But here are the worst lies, the 20 worst lies, in chronological order. First, Trump's rhetoric is like nothing we've heard from a nominee for president of the United States. Well, on the contrary, Barack Obama has specialized in divisive rhetoric both as a candidate, bitter clingers, and typical white person, and as a president. And of course, Hillary Clinton often uses racist language. In 2008, she pandered to hardworking white Americans. In 2016, she borrows from Black Lives Matter, talking about white privilege and systematic racism. He's taken hate groups mainstream and helping a radical fringe take over one of America's two major political parties. Donald Trump has nothing to do with a hate group, but a radical fringe has been in charge of the Democrat Party for a decade. And she was the first victim in 2008 primary. Since then, the party's leaders have embraced the Occupy Wall Street protests and the Black Lives Matter movement, which she still supports despite its incitement against police. And just the past week, under the guise of outreach to African Americans, Trump has stood up in front of largely white audience and described black communities insulting and ignorant terms. Poverty, rejection, horrible education, no housing, no homes, no ownership, crime at levels nobody has seen. Right now, you walk down the street, you get shot. The irony, Clinton actually said that in front of a large white audience in Reno. But consider what she is saying. If you speak honestly about problems in the black community, you are a racist. That is how political correctness has imprisoned black people for 50 years, ever since Democrat Pat Moyen tried to talk about the crisis in the black family. Perfect example. We try to talk about the gun violence that is going on in Chicago with the black-on-black shootings. You're a racist. I don't know how you're a racist for that, but you're a racist for bringing that up. A man with a long history of racial discrimination. Trump has no history whatsoever of racial discrimination. At the DNC last month, former Maryland Governor Martin O'Malley fled from the camera rather than cite one single example of anything Trump had said about black people, much less done. Clinton cited a handful of lawsuits by the Department of Justice, a department which recently tried suing Louisiana school districts for helping black students. And let's not forget Trump first gained political prominence leading the charge for the so-called birthers. The birther movement started among Hillary Clinton's own supporters in 2008, encouraged by a candidate with a deliberate strategy of painting her opponent as not fully American. Her campaign also encouraged suspicions that Obama is a secret Muslim. If Trump is a racist for asking for Obama's birth certificate, then Hillary is an even bigger racist than he is because she is the one that started the birther movement. In 2005, Trump launched his own campaign for president with another racist lie. He described Mexican immigrants as rapists and criminals. Trump's statement was overbroad, but he was not describing immigrants. He was just describing illegal aliens. He did specifically add, and some, I assume, are good people. What the Clinton campaign does not want to acknowledge in its push for open borders and total amnesty is that some illegal aliens from Mexico do rape and murder. This is someone who retweets white supremacists online. Trump is constantly on Twitter and retweets many people. If he was interested in retweeting white supremacists, we would see many examples. Not one, not two, inadvertent retweets among thousands. If you want to find extremism on Twitter, visit Hillary Clinton's own Twitter feed, tweeting and retweeting Black Lives Matter. The day after police officers were murdered in Dallas, she was tweeting about white racism. Sick-ass bitch. His campaign famously posted an anti-Semitic image a Star of David imposed over a sea of dollar bills. That first appeared on a white supremacist website. The Trump campaign didn't realize that image was anti-Semitic and did not know its origins. It changed the image after complaints. But look at the overt anti-Semitism in the Clinton campaign. A plan discussed by party officials to use Vermont's Senator Bernie Sanders' religion against them, for example, which Clinton never condemned. She never condemned when they wanted to use Bernie Sanders' Jewish religion against him. When asked in a national televised interview whether he would disavow the support of David Duke, a former leader of the Ku Klux Klan, Trump wouldn't do it. Only later, again under mounting pressure, did he backtrack. What Clinton leaves out, of course, is that Trump had already denounced Duke and the KKK several times, including the day before that CNN interview. She falsely paints his repeated denunciation in the days after the interview as backtracking. Within 2 hours, he was out there denouncing any support from any racist or white supremacist group. And that was one of the things that was going on Twitter. She was running her mouth lying about that. And so many mindless lemmings ran with it. And that was the one I showed proof that he immediately denounced. And all the person could do was block me instead of saying, shit, you're right, the bitch is a liar. I have on Twitter, with thousands to see, said, shit, you showed me facts, I was wrong. I have no problem with that. Number 10. We're only halfway through a list of her lies. Trump said thousands of American Muslims in New Jersey cheered the 9/11 attacks. They didn't. Thousands did not, but a handful did. That was already... It's already been proven. And I was in New Jersey. That's where I'm from. And thousands of Muslims, they cheered. This person, Hillary Clinton, can barely bring herself to acknowledge radical terrorists, Islamic terrors. So it is no surprise she would persist in her denial. But she has to continue to lie to cover up this radical Islamic terror. She has to lie blatantly. It's been proven that thousands were cheering. It has been proven time and time again. But yet they thought it was smart to run their mouths with a proven lie. All she's doing in these speeches is proving how much of a liar she is, how low she will go, how much of a scumbag she will be, and how much we would be in trouble if she was elected president. Another reason why Donald Trump is simply temperamentally unfit to be president of the United States, well, this is a lie for the simple reason that it is what Democrats say about nearly every Republican presidential nominee regardless. In 2008, Obama constantly claimed that Senator John McCain lacked the temperament to be the president of the United States. This is their go-to comment. Along with, oh, they're a racist, they're a racist, they're a racist, they're a racist. Every goddamn election, that's all we hear from the Democrat nominees. They're racist, they're racist, they're racist, 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 racist. That's all they know how to say. Well, that and they're temperamentally unfit. You want to talk about unfit? Here's a woman who has trouble walking up the steps. Here's a woman who can't campaign on the weekends because she needs to recuperate. In 17 days, she did 11 rallies, and it was exhausting for her. She couldn't go out on a Sunday talk show round because it was too stressful for her. Quote, unquote, it was too stressful for her. So they had Susan Rice do it. And then, all of a sudden, she can't remember anything because she had a brain injury that miraculously is all healed up now. But she can open a jar of pickles. Line number 13. And he had banned Muslims around the world, 1.5 billion men and women and children from entering our country just because of their religion. Well, that is a bunch of bullshit because it was a temporary ban from certain regions that had a high terrorism. They have a habit of misrepresenting what he says. And even, I know diehard liberals that are sitting there going, that's not what he said. He said a temporary ban on areas with high terrorism. There's liberals even correcting Hillary's bullshit lies. And this one really, really made me laugh. Hoist it high and proud, the Confederate flag proclaims a glorious heritage. Clinton singled out several Breitbart news headlines among thousands to claim that the site is racist. Well, in 2008, she had buttons made up with the Confederate flag in the background. Her husband used the Confederate flag for his presidential run. But they're trying to now paint Breitbart News because of the CEO now working for Trump's campaign as racist. It cannot, I just can't get over how she wants to attack the Confederate flag when herself, her own state flag as First Lady of Arkansas, the state flag is the Confederate flag by her husband's decree. She, as I said, used Confederate flag on buttons. She is tied to the Confederate flag, but yet she's going to scream that it's racist. So that makes her racist then by her own admission. She is racist by her own goddamn admission. If she is saying that that flag is racism, then she has to be a racist. Trump, the only presidential candidate ever to go into a public feud with the Pope. Well, the bitch forgot that every Catholic Democrat presidential candidate who supports abortion is opposed to the Pope. In 2007, Pope Benedict XVI reiterated that politicians who support abortion should be denied communion. Pope Francis has softened that rhetoric, but the conflict remains. According to the Southern Poverty Law Center, which tracks hate groups, Breitbart embraces ideals on the extremist fringe of conservative right. That is simply a lie, as anyone who reads Breitbart even occasionally would know. And the Southern Poverty Level Center has no credibility left. Certainly since a would-be Mass shooter used this center's guide to hate groups to target the Family Research Center or Council merely for supporting traditional marriage. That one came shortly after the Charleston massacre, when Democrats and Republicans alike were doing everything they could to heal racial divides. Breitbart tried to inflame them further. On the contrary, as Democrats like Clinton's were exploiting the Charleston attack to inflame racial divide and push gun control, Breitbart News focused on healing. There are several examples, including Lee Stranahan moving account of the makeshift memorial in Charleston. Just yesterday, one of Britain's most prominent right-wing leader, Nigel Farage, who stoked anti-immigration sentiments to win the referendum on leaving the European Union, campaigned with Donald Trump in Mississippi. Here, Clinton repeats one of the most frequent and self-defeating delusions of the anti-Brit X campaign. And Nigel has already responded. The majority of British voters are not bigots. They simply chose sovereignty over foreign bureaucracy. We'll be right back. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media, High Plains Pundit Radio, ICRN Networks, Red Nation Rising, YouTube, Speaker, and iTunes.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
Now, Brownells, we know you may have only one shot to harvest that trophy, so we have thousands of accessories and replacement parts to improve your chances. We know how much you love to shoot, so our gunsmiths articles and videos will help you do more and get more out of your guns. We also value your hard work and money. That's why only Brownells backs up everything we sell with a 100% unconditional lifetime guarantee. Brownells, the world's largest supplier of firearm accessories and gunsmithing tools.
My name is Chris Peranto, call sign Tonto. I was with the Global Response Staff. We were the security element for the Central Intelligence Agency in Benghazi, Libya on 9/11/2012. Myself and my team responded to an attack that killed Ambassador Chris Stevens, Sean Smith, and two of my teammates, Tyrone Woods and Glenn Doherty. Radical Islam is basically terrorism in a nutshell. It wants to not only put down Western values, it wants to kill anybody that supports those Western values, which is freedom, which is Christianity, and which is also anything that looks poorly on Sharia law. We've allowed it again to grow into something that it shouldn't be, and it's becoming stronger and stronger every day that we don't lead from the front. Obama and Hillary, by avoiding the phrase radical Islam, they're being politically correct. They don't see it for what it is, and that's straight up destroying the Western world. Radical Islam doesn't have a fear. They will give up their lives. They will detonate themselves. They will do anything they can to fulfill Sharia law and kill the infidels. If we're not able to even say radical Islam, the word radical Islam, there's no way we can fight it. There's no way we can defeat it. The United States of America doesn't lead from behind. We are always setting the example. If not, we're going to see terrorism get bigger and bigger, and eventually it's just going to be continual lone wolf attacks in the United States. And I don't want that to happen to my kids. I don't want to see my family go through that. Please join me in waking up Washington in this fight on radical Islam, seeing the threat that it really is. Sign up at leadingfromthefront.org.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
Listening to Reaver of Common Sense hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean,
Dude, I'm not saying coffee is stupid, bro.
Sackhead Clint,
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking, drinking, drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch the Southside Mutt Show with its hosts, the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe and Crash, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, where we will be digging up the dirt.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the reaverofcommonsense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date on everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense show. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm making sense out of the senseless. The Jersey Takeover's here. We have expanded to 2 hours every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you want to join a live chat, just go to Reaver.1, click on the live stream. Well, as it implies, you can watch a live stream on the same page as the chat, or you can listen to it broadcast. Last but not least, if you want to support the show and support SHR Media, go to Reaver.1/shop. That is REAVER.ONE/SHOP. Pick yourself up one of the many t-shirts that we offer. Pick up a survival bracelets that are custom, handmade just for you. Or you could simply pick up a pocket constitution. Go to Reaver.1/shop. Oh, where are we? Where are we? Oh, we're going over the 20 major Clinton lies from her speech. I think we're on number 19, so we're almost through with this list. Hopefully you found some of this comical, because if you don't laugh at it, I think I would be crying. I know that's bad to be saying as this big burly guy, but it's so sad and so disgusting. If I didn't laugh at it, that it would be sad. But Trump himself heaps praise on Putin and embraces pro-Russian policies. He talks casually about abandoning our NATO allies, recognizing Russia's annexation of Crimea, and giving the Kremlin a free hand in Eastern Europe more generally. This one is just outright, well, laughable. Coming from the former Secretary of State who championed the Russian reset, Sol was part of selling a shitload of uranium to Russia while profiting from it. By that sale, it allowed the Russian firm controlled by Putin to own 20% of Americans' uranium supply. She is tied, bought for, paid for by Russia. So she sits there. She has to paint Trump in that way to cover up her misdoings, her misgivings with Russia. She has so many ties to Russia, it's not funny. And all Trump did, spoke kindly about Putin. And Putin turned around because of it, said he spoke strongly, and he respected that. That's where this whole, oh my God, they're getting so along. No. They both recognize and respect strength. Putin is ex-KGB. He respects strength. A strong leader he respects. Going to him with a reset button just told him how weak America had become. There is no lovey-dovey between Trump and Russia. That would be Hillary kissing Putin's ass. Trump just respects the strength of Putin, and Putin respects back. There is nothing wrong with having a little respect back and forth, that maybe we won't go into another Cold War, which it seems that Hillary and the Democrats are hell-bound on doing. They have tried this whole election to restart the Cold War, Hillary has, and attacked Russia on every chance that she's got. I'm pretty sure she blames Russia if she stubbed her toe for pushing something in front of her. She has gone after Russia. The Democrat Party has this tinfoil hat about them about Russia. Everything is Russia's fault. It's not like there's other countries not hacking us. It's not like, well, some of that information could have walked out the door on the DNC. They just want to blame Russia and try to tie Trump to it. It's a Hail Mary pass that they're throwing. I think they realize that they are in a lot of trouble. And I think they're they're just clawing to try to stay above water. Hillary, like I said at the beginning of the show, they're already screaming and using the racist card so early. And it's not the first time. Democrats use it all the time. It is sickening, tiring, but they use it just about every election to fight Republicans. When they can't win, they start screaming racist to try to deflect conversations, try to deflect a bad week, bad publicity, so they scream racism. And the media buys into it every single time. And I'm busy. I'm going to try. I hate saying it because a lot of times I kind of fizzle out. I suck at writing. I'm working on an article right now, and I'm going to be going through some of the racist things that Hillary did in 2008 to try to defeat President Obama. during their primary. She made a lot of racial comments. She was being painted as a racist during the 2008 primary race. And it stuck. You had Bill Clinton making comments. It just was not good between the two of them. So it seems the woman that was hugging and kissing on a KKK senator to be screaming racist is kind of the irony is real loud on that. She is the one hugging and kissing a high-ranking, and also he was a recruiter. I don't give a shit if he apologized. And for anybody, well, we need to forgive him for his past because he apologized for being a KKK member. No, he didn't apologize. He still spoke highly of that time. But it wasn't popular towards the end of his run as a senator. So he apologized for it. Now, if that would have been Republican, they would have made such a fucking goddamn noise over it. He never would have been able to run ever again. I don't accept his apology. I don't give a shit that he apologized. During his time as a KKK high-ranking member is during a real nasty time. During the 50s, when there was a lot of burning crosses and a lot of lynchings that were done by KKK members. Hillary was hugging him and talking how great this man was. Hang on. Damn it. I can't spell today. All right, we're going to get to that one second. And number 20, parents and teachers are already worried about what they're calling the Trump effect. Bullying and harassment on the rise in our school, especially targeting students of color, Muslim, and immigrants. There is little evidence to support this claim. But Americans have been bullied by the Obama administration, which unleashed the IRS on its political enemies and accused opponents of the Iran deal of making common cause with the regime, attacks that Clinton supports. Let me tell you, my daughter's not getting attacked. She's not seeing any attacks in school. It is a fear-mongering that Hillary is trying. Another bag in the tricks of the Democrat Party. Let me see.
Country has lost a true American original.
Now, sorry about that. I'm going to restart it. This is Hillary Clinton commenting on the passing of Senator Robert Byrd, who was not only a senator for 50-some years, who filibustered the civil rights movement, was a high-ranking member and a recruiter for the KKK, and as I said, 50-some years with the Democrat Party.
Today, our country has lost a true American original, my friend and mentor, Robert C. Byrd. Senator Byrd was a man of surpassing eloquence and nobility, and I will remember him for many things, but most of all, for a heartfelt comment he made to me in the dark days following the attack on our country on 9/11. My state of New York was reeling, and we were scrambling to provide support and relief. Think of me as the third senator from New York, he said, and he meant it. Thanks to the leadership of Senator Byrd, who chaired the Appropriations Committee, New Yorkers and Americans got the help we needed. I will never forget his devotion and his friendship in that critical time. It is almost impossible to imagine the United States Senate without Robert Byrd. He was not just its longest-serving member. He was its heart, its soul, and its historian.
Its heart and soul. The KKK senator was the heart and soul of the Democrat Senate. But yet, so many people think and stand up for the Democrat Party. So many people are standing up for Hillary, saying she's a champion for the minorities. This isn't the only case. How about how she said she wanted to be like Margaret Sanger? And it always gets lost because of the whole Planned Parenthood controversy that goes on between pro-abortion and anti-abortion. But how about the fact that Margaret Sanger started Planned Parenthood for one purpose and one purpose only? She wanted to wipe out the black Americans. And she thought that she could do it through abortion. That's what a Planned Parenthood was built for. To wipe out the black, all the blacks in America. That's Planned Parenthood for you people in a nutshell. And Hillary talked about how she wishes she could be like Margaret Sanger and spoke so highly of this racist woman. Listen, I'm not trying to get into the whole pro-choice, pro-abortion, anti-abortion. I'm not trying to get in that conversation. That is for another time. I'm pointing out that the Planned Parenthood was started to wipe out the black population. Because the woman, Margaret Sanger, was a racist. And she wanted to kill off the black population. And Hillary wants to be like her. There's a bust in, which museum? Can't remember which museum. It's in Washington, D.C. I'm having a total brain fart. Sorry. And a group wanted it tore down because they were tearing down all the Confederate flag stuff. But they'll keep a bust of Margaret Sanger up, who started Planned Parenthood because she wanted to wipe the black culture off the face of America. And Hillary Clinton wants to be just like Margaret Sanger. And how many have stuck up for Hillary? There's case after case of the racism with the Democrat Party, and people keep making excuses for their fucking party. Republicans have tried, and again, like I said, this isn't saying the Republican Party is perfect, have never stepped in it, have never done anything wrong. On the contrary, they've been stupid. There was no party switch in 1960s. There's zero party switch. That is a story that the Democrats tell to cover up all the racist history of their party. There's actually more minority politicians with the Republican Party still to this day. Republicans were the first, and they still have the most minorities. Politicians. The Democrats have a better PR department, and their Alinsky tactics are I'll give a credit. They're very good, and the tactics are very useful. But they're getting old. They're using the same thing over and over and over and over again. There's now, on a side note, they're now saying there's new documents on Benghazi that are supposed to change the whole aspect. Supposedly there's an email with Hillary Clinton giving a stand down. I'll believe it when I actually see it. Hillary Clinton, with her attack on Breitbart News, whether you like Breitbart News or not, it is a direct attack on the freedom of press, freedom of speech. It is her way, and the Democrats have been doing it for the last several years, slowly attacking any site that speaks against them, trying to shut them down. They don't want opposing speech, so they're trying to shut down opposing speech. They're trying to shut down freedom of speech. It's scary how I mean, she is accusing 31 million people. 31 million people as being racist and Klansmen because they read a news article site. Because it dares speak out against the Democrat machine. It dares speak out against Hillary Clinton. So, typical Democrat fashion, they scream racism. Simply because they do not agree with her. The Clinton campaign attack ad that's out, targeting Donald Trump, portrays Breitbart News and employees and readers as racist, white supremacists, and members of the KKK. What's funny is if I was the Democrat Party, I would shut the fuck up about the KKK and Jim Crow laws, because they're the ones that run their mouth the most about it. But they are the creators of both. The Democrat Party created the Jim Crow laws. They created the KKK. And they talk the most about it. Well, they talk about it because they're the creators. And it seems they're still pissed that the Republicans fought against both. And one of the shots that they use, and God forbid a person stands in front of this. God forbid. So evil, he was standing in front of a mural depicting the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. That is what Hillary also attacks in that ad as being racist and evil. But it's Hillary Clinton describing KKK recruiter Robert Byrd as her mentor. Immediately, Pastor Mark Burns, who happens to be black, immediately condemned Hillary Clinton's tactics. Hillary Clinton and her campaign went to a disgusting new low today as they released a video tying the Trump campaign with horrific racial images. This type of rhetoric and repulsive advertising is revolting and completely beyond the pale. I call on Hillary Clinton to disavow this video and her campaign for this sickening act that has no place in our world. It is absolutely disgusting, the tactics that the left is using. And so early, as I said, in the campaign, that's how scared they are, and that's how bad they're actually losing. They have to pull these tactics out this early. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, ICRI Network, Red Nation Rising Radio, YouTube, Spreaker, and iTunes. We will be right back.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
Now, Brownells, we know you may have only one shot to harvest that trophy, so we have thousands of accessories and replacement parts to improve your chances. We know how much you love to shoot, so our gunsmiths articles and videos will help you do more and get more out of your guns. And we also value your hard work and money. That's why only Brownells backs up everything we sell with a 100% unconditional lifetime guarantee. Brownells, the world's largest supplier of firearm accessories and gunsmithing tools.
My name is Chris Peranto, call sign Tonto. I was with the Global Response Staff. We were the security element for the Central Intelligence Agency in Benghazi, Libya on 9/11/2012. Myself and my team responded to an attack that killed Ambassador Chris Stevens, Sean Smith, and two of my teammates, Tyrone Woods and Glenn Doherty. Radical Islam is basically terrorism in a nutshell. It wants to not only put down Western values, it wants to kill anybody that supports those Western values, which is freedom, which is Christianity, and which is also anything that looks poorly on Sharia law. We've allowed it again to grow into something that it shouldn't be, and it's becoming stronger and stronger every day that we don't lead from the front. Obama and Hillary, by avoiding the phrase radical Islam, they're being politically correct. They don't see it for what it is, and that's straight up destroying the Western world. Radical Islam doesn't have a fear. They will give up their lives. They will detonate themselves. They will do anything they can to fulfill Sharia law and kill the infidels. If we're not able to even say radical Islam, the word radical Islam, there's no way we can fight it. There's no way we can defeat it. The United States of America doesn't lead from behind. We're always setting the example. If not, we're going to see terrorism get bigger and bigger, and eventually it's just going to be continual lone wolf attacks in the United States. And I don't want that to happen to my kids. I don't want to see my family go through that. Please join me in waking up Washington in this fight on radical Islam, seeing the threat that it really is. Sign up at leadingfromthefront.org.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
Listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. You didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean,
Dude, I'm not saying coffee is stupid, bro.
Sackhead Clint,
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking, drinking, drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch the Southside Mutt Show with its hosts, the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe and Crash, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, where we will be digging up the dirt.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the Reaver of Common Sense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date on everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense show. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm making sense out of the senseless. The Jersey Takeovers here. We have expanded to 2 hours every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you want to watch a broadcast, a live broadcast, go to Reaver.1, hit the live stream button. You can also go and watch past shows. They'll be streaming all weekend. So if you get bored on the weekend, go there and you can watch some some past shows. During the live broadcast, there is a chat room right there. You can be a part of the conversation. You can jump in, you can talk. I'll answer questions as the show is going on. And last but not least, if you want to support the show and support SHR Media, go to Reaver.1/shop. That's REAVER.ONE/SHOP. Get yourself a t-shirt. Splurge a little bit. Get yourself a Reaver of Common Sense t-shirt. What else is there? There's pro Second Amendment. Everybody that buys them love the Second Amendment t-shirts. The Blue Lives Matter. I get comments about that when I wear it out all the time. How people love it. So go to Reaver.1/shop. Pick yourself up a plethora of items to choose from. So what's funny is Huffington Post. Now, anybody that knows anything about politics understand that Huffington Post is a left-leaning newspaper. And I mean left-leaning. Well, last January, the left-wing Huffington Post reprinted an article Jeffrey Dunn wrote in 2008 for an African-American newspaper detailing the persistent racism in the Clinton campaign, or as the Huffington Post headline calls it, Hillary Clinton's racist dog whistle. Now, I'm going to pop over to the Huffington Post as much as I hate to do it. But this came out January 19th, 2016. Well, the repost of the article. And it goes on, I received an email today from a black elder asking me to reprint a column I wrote for an African-American newspaper in April of 2008, detailing the persistent racism in the Clinton campaign as it tried to derail Barack Obama's historic run for American presidency. She wanted me to remind the American people of how far the Clintons had stooped a mere 8 years ago. I am reproducing the column below following Sunday night's presidential debate in which Hillary Clinton clung to the Obama mantle despite her and her husband's racist dog whistle against Obama in 2008. Sorry. In the aftermath of the Pennsylvania Democrat primary, won narrowly by Hillary Clinton, a race in which Hillary had a 20-point lead only a few months ago, the racism and hypocrisy of the Clinton campaign were laid bare for all a nation to scorn. Despite and willing to do anything to win, the Clintons resorted to a naked form of racism aimed directly at white working-class voters in the rural portion of the state. Their message, Barack Obama can't win because he's black. In the early stages of the campaign, it was Clinton's people who kept playing the race card. In New Hampshire, Clinton's co-chair accused Obama of being a drug dealer. Then there was the photograph of Senator Barack Obama in Somalia garb leaked to the press by Clinton's staff. In the aftermath of the South Carolina primary, former President Bill Clinton compared Obama's victory to those of Jesse Jackson in 1984 and 1988. His message was clear. Obama was a marginal black candidate. Then came the disgraceful remarks of Geraldine Ferraro, who could not and would not shut her mouth. If Obama was a white man, she charged, he would not be in this position. And she adamantly and unapologetic amid the resulting outcry. Every time that campaign is upset about something, they call it racist. She proclaimed, I will not be discriminated against because I'm white. Say what? The Clintons refused to publicly call for Ferraro's resignation. Ferraro's remained unrepentant when she finally did resign. The Obama campaign is attacking me to hurt you, she bitterly wrote Hillary, and she never apologized for her remarks. For anyone who has followed the Clinton campaign closely, it is all too apparent that her top political strategists, reeling from losses from coast to coast and badly miscalculating the grassroots power of the Obama movement, made a tactical decision to go negative, as that would be the only way for Clinton to stop Obama and somehow allow her to steal the nomination. And go negative they did, with a subtle yet consistent racism underscoring every turn. The now notorious red phone at 3 a.m. television ad used by Clinton during the Texas primary. A Harvard sociologist, Orlando Patterson, noted in the New York Times was reminiscent of D.W. Griffith's racist film Birth of a Nation, which helped revive the Ku Klux Klan. In Pennsylvania, Governor Ed Randell, who headed up Clinton's campaign, was publicly saying that white voters in the Keystone State would not vote for Obama because he was black. Randell's remarks were racist from the get-go, but no one in the white media called him out. Indeed, the media began playing the game. ABC's George Stephanopoulos, who worked as Bill Clinton's press secretary and lied through his teeth on Clinton's behalf, where the journalistic objectivity here brought up Obama's relationship to former 60s radical Bill Ayers, and the rest of the media went bonkers over Obama's all-too-honest remark about conservative white voters hanging on to guns and God. Amidst so much fury, significantly noting another thing, Hillary Clinton finally did her own bidding. Racism is racism does. She boldly linked Obama with Reverend Jeremy Wright and Wright with the Nation of Islam leader Louis Farrakhan. That linkage was patently racist at its core. Yet once again, no one in the mainstream media so much as blinked. And when asked about Reverend Wright by the Pittsburgh Tribune-Review, Clinton declared, given all that we have heard and seen, he would not have been my pastor. While we don't have a choice when it comes to our relatives, we do have a choice when it comes to our pastors or our churches. Clinton is an inveterate liar. I am sorry, there is truly no other word for it. And as her ill-fated presidential campaign tumbles towards inevitable demise, the personal deception that is at the core of her personality and of her career continues to reveal itself. As we all know, truth may be slow of foot, but is always inevitable. Only this past weekend, as Clinton continued to reference Reverend Wright in her stump speeches, the filmmaker Michael Moore reminded us that in 1998, Reverend Wright had actually been a guest at the Clintons' White House for a prayer breakfast, after Bill Clinton's rather tawdry affair with intern Monica Lewinsky had been made public. And it goes on, but the attack on Hillary still stands. It is the same that is going on today. Her lies. The woman will say anything. And her own side, the Democrats have said this about her, that she will say and do anything to get elected. She talks about being there for 9/11 victims and rescuers. She was not. She put her name on a piece of paper that was wrote by somebody else so that she could brag about what she had done, even though she had no part of it. As a first responder, or ex-first responder, I find it appalling. Because she's doing nothing but using it for political gain. She's attacked the freedom of the press, freedom of speech. She's throwing around the racism charge already. We still have, I think, we're like 2 months. We're 70-some days. Let me see. Try to see how many days. There's usually some kind of countdown clock somewhere. 73 days. 73 days till election. And she's already digging to the bottom of the Democrat bag of tricks. It's backfiring on her. Even the left is calling her attacks a little sick. You have these Trumpocrats. And I've heard some of them talk. They agree with conservatives when it comes to economics, but they agree with the Democrats when it comes to social issues. I don't agree with that, but I can respect that side. I can understand why they go to that. Everybody wishes for this utopia of the world. I can just see the realistic of it. We're never going to do away with racism. Doesn't mean we shouldn't try. We're never going to do away with homophobia, even though we shouldn't stop. I find it funny how the left's trying to force everybody to accept that lifestyle. Because they don't want a lifestyle forced on them, so they're trying to force a lifestyle on everybody else. And it's funny to watch the hypocrisy and the circle run around that. And that wasn't even my idea. I was talking to a gentleman who happened to be gay, and we got talking about it. And he talked how he hated what's going on. He just wants to be left alone. He wants to live his life. And he hates what he sees with this push, because he said it is hypocritical because they're trying to push their lifestyles for everybody else to accept, because they don't like that everybody's trying to force their lifestyles on them that they don't want to accept. And he said that hypocrisy, and they don't even see it. How they're doing the same thing that the other side's doing to them. And that he doesn't want to force anybody to accept his lifestyles, but he doesn't want to be physically attacked, verbally attacked. He just wants to be left alone to live his life. Go ahead. I don't give a shit. And everybody keeps going to this old conservative GOP. There's still some in it. But listen, I don't give a shit. You want to get married? Get married. It's a piece of fucking paper, people. I know it gives some privileges. I don't exactly think our government should be involved in all that. And what's funny is it's the Democrats that push government involvement in your life. Social issue, I don't care. The problem that we're having with this whole trans bathroom issue is, well, they've been going into the bathrooms for years, and nobody knew the difference. And most conservatives don't give a shit because it was a non-issue. But where Obama pushed it too far, and the wording that he used was allowing these perverts, and it happened immediately. These perverts were going in and being perverts. And I'm not talking about the transgenders. They're not perverts. That's their lifestyle. So be it. It's the pedophiles, the rapists, the voyeurs that were going into the female changing rooms and bathrooms now because there's nothing nobody can do. And that's where a lot of us objected to it. Not. And it goes to, let's go to the civil rights. Why do they claim that the Republicans are the racists? Because they fought against civil rights, even though the Republicans had the majority vote for approval for civil rights. If it wasn't for the Republicans, it would have died. It's because one senator stood up and said, no, we shouldn't be doing this. It is a state issue, not a federal issue. It is what our founding fathers based the country on, that it's the states that are the ones that should be dealing with this, not the federal government. I don't exactly... I mean, I agree with his sentiment that states should be developing their own rules and laws. There's some things the federal government should rule on, and I do think the civil rights was one of them. But it wasn't because he was against blacks or freeing blacks or allowing blacks all these civil rights. It was he just thought it was a state over federal issue. That's what this whole, the mythical switch, Republicans are racist, starts from. That argument. You got to understand, if it wasn't for the Republicans who passed the civil rights with 80% to 60% approval, the civil rights may not have been passed in the 1960s. They had tried multiple times, and it was the Democrats that kept filibustering. In the 1950s, the Republicans pushed it through. It was the Democrats that filibustered. And we go on and on and on. 100 years. I can't believe. I could never. I'd be independent before anything. If I had a problem with the Republican Party, fine, I'd be independent, but I could never back the party. That they talk about all the enslaving of their relatives and how upset they are, but they're part of the political group that their ideology was the one responsible for enslaving their ancestors. The party fought for decades against freeing of any type of the black people. The right to vote, all that. The Democrat Party fought against it. How can you be a part and back I don't know. Like I said, I'm not saying come running to the Republican Party. But when you sit there and you want to talk about racism, please remember, it's the party that you're backing and voting for constantly is the one that enslaved you. The one that you're complaining about the inner city lifestyle is the one that's running those inner cities. I don't tell people how to vote, but I could say this. Why don't you try voting for Trump and changing up? Try voting in a Republican government majority, and give it more than one election cycle on the inner cities. Give it a try for these choice of schools, because we got it here in Hillsborough County, and it's great. We were able to choose a better school that fitted my daughter's needs than because of where we lived. They're able to develop busing routes because my daughter could take the bus. We don't do it because of the hours that she would spend on the bus both in the morning and afternoon. And they claim that it's going to be against the minorities, these schools would. That's a bunch of bullshit. Because I've seen in the school systems in Hillsborough County and how there's a plethora of minorities. In fact, the school that my daughter goes to, she's the minority as a white girl. She's a minority. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying the choices would be against the blacks. It would disadvantage the blacks. No, it wouldn't. It would give them advantage to get them out of these inner city schools. Then it would make these inner city schools step up and become better schools. It would help people to become better. It just, I seen it with my own eyes on how it's working, how it helps. And how the kids have to work hard to stay in these schools. They have to, it's just not a free ride. If they're not doing good, and they're not, well, if they're not trying, if they're not showing an effort, if they're just trying to glide, they will get pushed out and told you can go back to the school that's in your district. We want kids that want to try. We want parents. We have to be involved in the school, too. We have to be involved in my daughter's education as much as we can. Now, it's not they're expecting us to be sitting right next side of her, but being a part of her education, conversations. Democrat Party has been holding minorities down for centuries now, and they still are. And underneath Hillary, it's not going to get any better. Our country's not going to get better. She's going to further the attack on free speech, on all of our civil rights, on all of our constitutional rights. She said it, the government has the right to regulate. The purpose of us having the Bill of Rights and the Constitution is to say that these are the rules the government cannot touch. But she says that the government has the right to regulate them. It's that time. We've gone through the show pretty quickly. It's also the weekend. I want everybody to have a great weekend. Have fun, relax, spend time with your family, but be safe. I want to thank everybody again, and I know I do it at the end of the show all the time. I am grateful. I'm humbled. And I appreciate, and I just try to speak what's on my mind. I am a little nobody. that's just lucky enough to be able to have this show. And with that, I say have a great weekend. And see you Monday at 11 o'clock. Good day. You've been listening to the Reaver of Common Sense with its host, Jersey Joe. You can tune in every day, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on hppundit.com and shrmedia.com.